We go to Sanjay Dutt and company thanking Cole Carter as they paid him for last week.
So
I feel this guy needs to wear a name tag. I think that everyone needs to be reminded of his name each week.
yeah. So tell me what was this? So he's not part of this group?
That's what it felt like. They paid him for a week's worth of dressing up in the Sting outfit, probably his dry cleaning, and then
What was the point of all that?
to
To like distract people, to set the scene for Jeff Jarrett. That was Jeff Jarrett's grand plan.
he
We're gonna
was coming to
hire
attack. He was coming to attack Darby.
we're gonna hire a guy to dress up as Sting so that he can unmask, so that I could sneak up from behind. Sneaking up from behind in a wrestling match is not that hard to do. I think this was way too elaborate. This was also like it just kind of set up for a kind of a negative moment with a pretty flat reveal last week, and one that didn't even result in anything because it just seems like he was just a 1 week hire. Like, what? What was it? What happened? What is this?
Well, he's with the Factory. We do establish that, so he's with Team Factory.
Now we did. I mean, last week we thought he had left the Factory.
He was just loaned out. He was available for hire.
Loaning. Okay.
This is how independent contractors work. Way.
All right, sure. I think this sucked.
Well, Shivani interviews them, and Dutt says, I run this place. We delivered our big surprise last week, and they bring out the Hall of Famer, Jeff Jarrett, the last outlaw. And Jarrett explains that when a friend calls, a friend shows up. We put a plan together, and that started last week. And he explains his connection, signing Jay Lethal to his first contract, and he oozed machismo, mentioning his wins over Ric Flair, Sting, and being a Grand Slam champion in ROH. While Dutt has an IQ of 181, and they took over promotions around the globe. And my good pal Satnam Singh, he's 7'5" and doesn't wear red skinny jeans while being produced by a banana nose circus.
Banana nose. That's one I've not heard before.
That's what Terry Funk used to call Ric Flair.
Oh, okay.
But I have no idea what that ties into other than this knock against Braun Strowman.
Well, a man with a big nose is I think what a lot of people read it as.
Okay.
Who works in that company.
I guess that was his shot at Paul Levesque and Braun Strowman then.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how a lot of people read it. Red skinny jeans. Yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting.
Only one description suits that one. Maybe that was a receipt for the floppy floppers line over the weekend for Braun. Did you see?
Oh, this? Yeah, could be. Yeah,
the floppy floppers. That's a man that's going to miss Twitter. He's done remarkable things for his reputation on there.
He was made for this app. Yeah.
And then the challenge is issued to Darby Allin, but we can't really get to the gist of this challenge because the producer is wrapping up Jeff. So Jeff threatens this producer and then just walks him down, and this producer hightails it into the crowd, and this just ended very abruptly. I just thought this was going to be a guitar spot, and
same.
It was just like they just went all the way down the aisle, and then he left through the crowd, and we cut. It's like, what happened here?
I guess I don't know the reason why you would introduce, this sort of non-character other than just as a person to take one of Jarrett's shots. And what was the point of this? Was it just to simply show how threatening Jeff Jarrett could be to camera crew? Was it just to make Jarrett
it was really
feel
flat?
Threat?
So I don't know. This felt like some miscommunication because this just seemed primed for the guitar spot. Like, what else would you be doing here?
Dude, I don't know, man. I can't explain this entire faction, John. They have had a lot of TV time, but it's always been a group that has missed something to me. And I don't think that missing ingredient is Jeff Jarrett, okay? I don't feel like Sanjay Dutt has been a very effective speaking leader of the group because his delivery is just frantic, high energy rambling. And I don't think it's that great. Satnam is a guy who doesn't wrestle, but he had a great spot last week. Lethal is the only guy who wrestles, and he can already speak. So then throwing in another semi-retired wrestler in there who, I suppose is now doing the bulk of the heavy lifting speaking. I guess I just don't exactly know like who this faction is supposed to be elevating. Why they decided to put, all the various attributes that each of them offer into this particular group. And I can't really say that the creation of this entire segment was that great either, especially with the Cole Carter would have been somebody that I can understand. That's the Randy Orton, that's the person you want to elevate coming out of this, but he's not a part of this whole thing. I just, there's been enough criticism over the past week about Jeff Jarrett's appearances on this show. To this week certainly didn't aid that at all. I didn't think Jarrett's delivery was that great. I think I could see even that much more, negative attention to it when they announced the match at the pay-per-view with him.
Bryce is checking on the eye. This is when Excalibur informs us it will be Sting and Darby against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal in 2022.
Listen, like I feel like we know why Jarrett's here. He's got a backstage role. He's potentially helping out with house shows and all that stuff, of which he seems incredibly qualified. But man, like to put him on the pay-per-view, like I know like Sting maybe kind of needs some sort of like, I don't know, guy that's around his age with that he has some history against to feud with, but like this is only going to build resentment and people questioning, I think, Tony Khan's taste of what the audience really wants, because I just don't know if like Jarrett is really adding any sort of real interest on a pay-per-view.
He's certainly the most polarizing figure and among the most that they've ever hired for this role. I don't think you'd have any of this if it was just a behind-the-scenes role, but it's rightly or wrongly, like it's just what Jeff Jarrett represents to all of these companies he's been to. I think it's just, to many people, it's sort of the antithesis of what they saw this company being 3 years ago. And they're at a stage now where, they're going this direction and trying this, whether this is a short-term thing or longer. He is in a prominent story now going into this pay-per-view.
Yeah. And again, like he works really well in like a GCW, where I think the same way to me, like Zack Ryder works, like we're representing that other thing in the context of GCW, makes that person really interesting. But because AEW is always in danger of being the next TNA, that bringing somebody so attached and so synonymous with TNA itself in a prominent role like this is only going to get people more concerned that it's headed towards that direction, which is not, like, we're all overreacting a bit, but this is certainly not like the direction that I think people want.
Would you have an issue if he was more earmarked for ROH once that eventually spins off? Like,
yeah, I would, because I think ROH is also very much in danger of being another TNA.